Hello, this is Lisa Russick and Misty Lore with the podcast We're All Psychic. And today we have two guests on the same camera. This has never happened, except when Misty and I are on the same camera. Would you guys like to say hello?
Love to. Hi, this is Mary Kramer.
And I'm Vince Kramer from Imagine Miracles. And we're so happy to be here, Misty and Lisa.
We are great. We are so excited that you're here. And we have a question for you. I will ask Vince. You want to ask Mary, Misty?
Sure.
Vince, do you think we're all psychic?
I think that we have the ability to tap into our guidance at a very high vibration and really can make a difference in living our lives if we're willing to tap into it.
Oh, that's great.
All right, Mary, do you think that we're all psychic?
Without a doubt.
All right, I like that.
Big smile with that one. Yeah, we both have big smiles. So, how did you get to those answers? I mean, did you always think that way? Did you always feel that way, or is this something you grew into? Or
why don't you start?
I would say I was so blessed to grow up in California in the 60s and 70s.
Lucky.
So
Yes.
I know I miss it, but it's good to be living in Colorado. But I think it was sort of in my environment. And
we've had some people say that who were, in the hippie kind of, that movement, and they were like, it was just everybody was doing cards and stuff.
So I had a very traditional family, but I think there was something to the energetics of being in California. And there were so many opportunities, so many thought leaders at that time that eventually, by the time I was probably 7, my mom had started really delving into those thought leaders at that time. And so I was so fortunate to at least have the thinking in my life at a very early age.
Was introduced.
Yes, I was introduced. And not that I necessarily practiced it or anything like that, but I definitely think it had an impact on me.
That's cool. Yeah.
I'm the other side of the coin.
Are you tails?
I was very late in life and had some big wake-up calls to make me pay attention to what was missing in my life. And luckily, and it's a story and a half just in itself, but Mary and I had met 10 years before we were both getting a divorce.
Wow.
And that divorce drove me to look for what was missing in my life. And Mary brought spirituality into my life, but also opportunities that I couldn't deny. And in that not being able to deny and some things happening in our lives that I'm sure you guys will ask about, I ended up not only having to believe the possibility of psychics, but then understand what channeling was, and then ended up channeling myself after 50 years old and never believing in anything like that before I was 48 years old.
Wow, that's amazing. What was the first message? Do you remember? Do you remember what the first message was you got when you channeled?
Well, the interesting thing was Mary and I kind of danced around being friends before we realized we're going to be together. Let's make it.
You two are like, there's so much chemistry.
I know, right? I can feel it.
It's just all
I can feel it totally.
It sure took us a while though. But the interesting thing was, in looking for myself, I got involved with a bunch of people that were working to be trainers because I knew I was supposed to help people love themselves. Yeah. And that's another story too. But in looking to find ways to do that, I signed up for this program that I had no idea what the program was about. But the day before, I get a call from Mary and she said, I'm up in Aspen. You need to come up here. I'm up with my business partner and my son, and you need to come up here. And it was like, Mary, I got a 5-day event I'm going to. But I ended up going up.
I was persuasive.
Of course.
I bet you can be. Yeah.
And I'll let Mary tell some of the story about what happened the night before. But what I wanted to share, because of what happened the night before, I went to this 5-day event where all we did for 18 hours a day was answer the question, tell me who you are. in dyads with somebody, which was way out of my ball game for sure.
That's pretty neat. Yeah.
And during those 5 days, Mary had shared the night before about this little girl in a blue dress that she saw in my energy.
Yeah.
5 times during that event, somebody said, "Do you know there's a little blonde girl wearing a blue dress in your?"
Yeah, I saw the blonde hair too. Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, I had to pay attention to it. So that was my first real, somebody's trying to get a message to you, pal, and you better listen.
Yeah. That's amazing. I love that.
So what was the message?
The message turned out to be that we are meant to live a purpose together, and that purpose is to help others find the reason that they chose to come to Earth, and then how to best live it in the 3D world.
Yeah.
But at that point, they were just trying to get my attention to start learning that I had this connection that I needed to pay attention to, which turned out to be the channeling, so I could download all the information that we've built our programs on.
It's great.
Awesome.
Yeah. So tell us about your programs. Yeah, listeners, watchers. I think I did say this was a video podcast, but I didn't actually say that. I insinuated it by saying, look at them. But yes, they help us find our purpose. They get us to find it. He explains it much better. They both explain it much better than I will. So why don't you tell the listeners and watchers exactly like what all you guys do, how you do it, and how does it work?
Well, like I said, the interesting thing was that through this little blonde girl, I ended up asking Mary, because where she found out about this little blonde girl was her own channeling with someone.
Okay.
I wanted to go to a channeling. I didn't necessarily want to believe it, but I wanted to go to it.
Yeah.
In that channeling, we were pretty much told that we were coming together to help people open their hearts. So the interesting part about that is when I was 17 years old, my grandmother on her deathbed told me that at 5 years old, I told her that I wanted to help people love themselves so they could love each other.
I think that was really the first message, don't you think?
Oh gosh, yeah. Hello.
Yeah. This is the big first.
Easy to forget, though. At 17 years old and then going through life, it's easy to forget such a powerful message. But I believe that's his first wow message.
That is, yeah. And it came out of your own mouth, and that's what you get people to do.
As a child, as an innocent child.
That's so great.
We do get people to find their purpose out of their own mouth. That's true. I love that.
I would love a demonstration if you guys want to try. I don't know if it's something you can do in a podcast, but
we can really talk about it, Lisa, but it's something that people really need to go inside. We have them open what we call account coning, because we know that everybody can tap into their higher selves, which is that non-physical, all-knowing part of them. But we truly believe that everybody's an energy stream. And as an energy stream, there's higher and higher and higher vibrations of that energy stream, which are the ascended masters, the guides, the archangels, whatever we relate to that energy color. And so it's really in depth to actually dive in and ask the right questions to get the right answers. So it's nothing that we could do here.
Okay. And you probably set the mood, and I imagine you might have some techniques you do to get people relaxed and in this headspace they need to be in.
Yes. And also to help them use some exercises that have been discovered by psychiatrists and psychologists on how to tap into the subpersonalities that really can help you tap into trusted source also. So that's really huge.
Wow, that's really cool. So how do you go about teaching people this and working with them?
Well, one of the cool things that the end result of helping people find their purpose is actually what we call your unique purpose blueprint. So there's 5 parts. And so it's the beginning stages of working with us is a 7-week program.
Okay.
And within those 7 weeks is the process that you're asking about. So it's getting people to build their trust with their inner guidance. It's helping people with different ways to tap in and ask the right questions and get answers, and helping them and supporting them and actually believing that they don't have to have a channel give them their answers. And it takes time. I'm, even though I was, so lucky to have this my whole life, at least the environment of it, I'm probably was one of the biggest disbelievers of self.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
I
hard.
relate to that. Yeah.
I think too.
When I was younger, I have esteem issues.
Right? I mean, I'll believe every channel and every psychic and every reader, but because I feel it. But when it comes to me hearing the answers for me, that's where I have to really strengthen up my belief and practice. So we found that it takes, at least 7 weeks for people to have a really solid foundation. And then we provide support after that. And one of my favorite things to do in the business is being an accountability coach. So meeting with you once a week and really, asking the hard questions and helping you set your goals, but mostly continue with what you learned from us.
Yeah.
When Mary talked about the 5 parts of the blueprint, it's really us helping you find the answers to 5 really important questions and giving you the micro questions, if you will, to ask your guides. So then we can help coach you through coming up statements for your blueprint.
Okay.
So what do you think the 2 most asked questions are in the world?
What and when, or how much does it cost?
That might be the new one. Who are you and who am I and why am I here?
Yeah.
Are the 2 biggest. And the interesting thing, those are the bookend questions to find the 3 parts of your purpose.
That's so cool.
Because there's not one part to your purpose. And I think that's why we are so frustrated, because we're
looking for one.
Looking for the why.
But
it's the who, what, and why that's our true purpose.
That's great. I love that. That's really cool.
And it makes it so unique.
Yeah, and it sounds like did you guys have channeled guidance setting up your business and your programs and everything? Because it sounds like something you do, really creative. You guys seem really creative, but it seems like you need like a lot of these kind of creative helps to come up with something like this. It's really like a muse kind of. If you wanted to, the energy and spirits, maybe you'd call it a muse, But I just think that's wonderful. And like how do people usually respond after the 7 weeks are over, and do they keep in touch? And
well, the important thing is that when I went to this channeling that Mary set up for me, they said, we're going to give you the information. And for nights, I would be awakened at 2 a.m, 3 a.m, with all this information coming in. They take notes,
downloads. Yeah.
Everything that we needed to build. And what came from that is, and it's really important for everybody who has a business to have their specific programs, their specific systems. And the system that they gave us was the Miracle Life Method. And that Miracle Life Method is discovering, creating, and living the life that we're meant to live.
Yeah.
And that first 7 weeks that Mary was talking about is truly the discover part of it.
Okay.
Because once you know your purpose, what are you truly going to do with it?
Yeah. What's easy? What if it's something like be a pilot? If someone told me I was supposed to, fly a certain plane in this one storm and to save people or something. No, I'm terrified of planes. I'm not a pilot, and I'm 48. I'm not going to learn. But it could happen. You never know. Things change. Yeah, maybe I will be a pilot in 3 years. You just. But if someone told me that, I'd be like, whoa, I got to figure this out. Like how do I get there, for example, but I imagine for most people, it's something they can relate to, so that they probably,
did you know I was an airline pilot, or did you just
No, I just use that as an example. You were an airline pilot? Really?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that. I really didn't. I just came out. I love that.
The energy was right.
It was. Now Missy is dying to ask questions. She's been too quiet.
Well, okay. So how do you, if I'm coming in and I'm interested in this, what are the first steps into doing this with your sessions? What can I do at home to start trying to find my own way of finding out what I need to be doing with my life? What can I do first?
The answer is truly connection.
Connection? Okay.
Truly connection. Can you believe that you can tap into your guidance at that level?
Mm-hmm.
Because
you have to believe it, don't you?
Yes.
You do.
And my desire as a channel and the desire of the group that comes through me, they call themselves the Round Table. And they're each individual's guides, whoever I'm channeling for, it's their guides. Their desire is for each of us to get to a place where we don't feel we need a channel or a psychic to tap into our guidance.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of belief.
Right.
It does. And it took, I'm still trying to believe it. And, like Misty and I, Misty had the experiences when she was younger and shut it down. Whereas when I was younger, I was just a happy kid. And then when I hit puberty, I didn't know what it was. I had no exposure like you had, Mary. Mm-hmm. I knew, but not what it really was. But I knew the movies, and we like to watch the seance movies and the ghost stories and stuff like that. But it's not like that. Sometimes it can be, but not quite like that. The movie magic, but So
yeah, when you were first talking about how when you were a child and you told was it your grandmother that you told that to, or your mother? Your grandmother?
My grandmother. Mm-hmm.
I've had a very similar experience, and I was thinking about that when I was a child. I used to tell my mom, I'm here to fight evil. That's what I'm here to do. And I would tell her that all the time. And she, of course, to a little kid, okay, whatever. But I think back at that now, and I'm thinking, so what can I do in my life to do that? What do I need to be doing to do that? And so that's where I'm at right now. I kind of know what I'm supposed to do, but I don't know how to do it. So I like that you actually keep up with them after they figure it out, because that's only half the battle, right?
For sure.
Exactly.
For sure. And, the most exciting thing about it is, I believe, Misty, is that each and every one of us knew when we came in exactly what we're here to do.
Yes, I do too.
But we had to forget. And we had to forget because we wouldn't have experienced the highs and the lows of the vibrations. We wouldn't have developed our gifts and talents to step into that place. But unfortunately, and I'll ask Mary to speak to this a little bit. Unfortunately, in that process, we also developed subpersonalities.
Yes.
We also developed belief systems.
Mm-hmm.
And the belief systems and the subpersonalities helped us when we were moving into that place where we're ready to fully live our purpose. But once you know your purpose, now those things are also keeping you stuck or holding you back from it.
Yeah. Because it's not easy.
You got to dig through your life
purpose.
Like weeds, pull all the weeds out so you can get to do it.
Yeah. It's like you're there and you're like, okay, what do I do?
It's over. Game over.
Yeah. I quit.
It's like, I just kind of floated through my life, just, one thing to another. I've had a lot of health issues. So I've worked from home since like 2006, but it would just be amazing because I've had so many jobs. I've done so many things, and I just have as far as like a career, I have no idea. But then when you said that, you have to ask, who am I and why am I here? There are two parts to that. Like, I don't really know who I am. I know a good bit, probably more than anybody, but, it's like some things I haven't explored about myself because it's uncomfortable. And I imagine you'd have to, like, when you're holding them accountable, Mary, that's when that uncomfortable stuff comes up, but then you can heal it. So I think that would be really beneficial. Like for me, I would totally do that. That'd be great. I think that's a really good method you guys are doing.
The important aspect that you just shared there was you've done so many things in your lifetime and been in and out of this and that. The exciting thing, and I hope this is exciting for you and the listeners, everything that you've done is truly going to be part of you moving forward and living your purpose.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Because even if you know it or not, you're still doing it, right?
Right.
Have you met people who
are helping people too?
Yeah.
Everything you do.
Have you met people who don't know their purpose? I mean, who know their purpose and like they don't know how to, like, maybe they don't agree, or they're like, they don't want to do it. Does that ever happen?
A lot of people do know what Simon Sinek would say, your why. A lot of people do. And we give them so much credit for that. The problem is that they don't know their who. They don't understand their energy. They don't understand what they are illuminating or projecting out and what others feel. And back to the subpersonalities, they don't understand what they're covering up, the light that they're covering up to be safe.
Yes, for fears.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with the subpersonalities. They're there to protect you. They're there to keep you safe. But they're created when you're young. And most of us that are probably listening and speaking with each other right now are, not 7 years old anymore.
Maybe.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes Misty and I are definitely 7-year-olds together.
So I think where our uniqueness in helping people with purpose is really delving into all of the 5 questions, and then the next step, which is really helping you become, let's say, the adult in your life, so to speak. Being willing to look at those parts of you that were formed when you were very little, that are still running our lives, that are still making us feel not good about ourselves, that are lowering our self-confidence. Mm-hmm. And those are the parts in our next program that we have, which is a year, because it does take that long. We've done it many years and it takes that long. That's where we really get to help people with what holds you back.
Kind of deprogramming, it sounds like. That would take, I think it would take longer than a year.
It does, but
it's hard.
You can really only talk to people about 1 year. That's about all they can handle.
Yeah.
The other thing about people in their purpose is there's a definition or a meaning that's been given to purpose in society. And there's a lot of people that I know I like to do this and I help people get this. And we believe that that's our why.
I like that's me though, right? Mm-hmm. Is that what you're saying? That wouldn't be the why?
But what I want to say there is the divine intent, and we call it the divine intent, is because it's the intent that you brought into this earth. You raised your hand and said, I, Lisa, I, Misty, want to take on that challenge. I want to make that difference in the world. And it's divine because you brought it in from the fullness of your energy. That's the difference that you make when you do those things.
That's cool.
So how do you change the world? How do you change the universe? By sharing your gifts with these people that then get this from working with you, type of thing. There's the difference, and that's the true why. And people don't understand that part of it. And that's dangerous because you can live your why in so many ways other than just helping this way or that way.
Yeah.
When I uncovered my purpose of raising the vibration of the world and opening hearts, I looked at my current job, the airline job, and I said, well, I got to quit this because I'm not living my purpose. I've got to find another way. Well, thank goodness I bring in the round table, and the round table says, Vince, every time you land the airplane and stand in the door and say goodbye to people with a smile on your face, you're raising the vibration of the world towards joy, and you're opening hearts. You are living your purpose.
I love that.
That's just nice.
That's something simple that you did automatically, and you didn't even think that would help.
And that's part of who you are.
Yeah.
If you enjoy spreading that joy, it's both.
And when we uncover that divine intent for each person, one of the things that I love to do is let's go back through your life and see where you were living your divine intent all along.
That's cool. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yes, that's a really good thing, actually, because that just proves that you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're on the right path. To me, we all want to be on the right path.
And we always are.
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes we get a little off course.
Yeah, but then we got put right back on. I'm off.
Wake up.
Yeah,
Wake up.
I know when I get off, but bad things happen.
Yeah, even the astrology, the Vedic astrologers talk about that with their Ketu and Rahu. They kind of like keep you in line on your path, is from what I understand in Indian astrology, Vedic astrology. So,
yes.
Yeah. Misty, did you have any other questions? I know you got.
Well, I mean, yeah, I've always got questions, and I always need answers to everything. But, so I'm at home, and I'm really trying to figure out what's going on with me. And let's say I do find my path, and I'm starting to work on that. So what's the next step after that? What do I need to do after that?
So as you uncover your path, and I'll just give you our formula, and the thing that I want the listeners to know is there's many people like Mary and I who have the same divine intent, and it takes a lot of us because it's our gifts and talents that call out to a certain group of people, and another set of gifts and talents that call out to another. So. We'll share our way that came through the round table that I wouldn't say forced, but I had to do before I could develop programs for someone else. I had to go through the same process. So we call it the CREATE model. And the CREATE model is really taking science and spirituality. And first of all, how do you use an understanding of energy to create the life that helps you live your divine intent, your unique purpose?
Yeah.
So we start out with that. So, okay, this is what I really want in life. This is how I want to live my life. How do I start creating it? Understanding the universal laws, understanding quantum physics, and then move in that direction. And then as soon as you start creating, now those parts of you that don't believe you deserve it, you're not worthy, you're not lovable, or those other parts that the subpersonalities that you develop to protect you, and they want to keep you in one spot because they don't know how to protect you if you step into the unknown, that's when they start popping up.
Yeah.
So now where do we go? We go to looking for and understanding those things, those rocks, those obstacles that might get in our way. And then once we understand them, you can't change or transform anything if you're fighting against it. So the next step we take you to is embracing all the parts of you that are there right now. So once you embrace them, now you can do the reframing work to start changing your beliefs, because beliefs aren't real. You can start working with your subpersonalities, your ego. I know we hear a lot, you got to get rid of the ego. It doesn't happen. It's part of you. It's an energetic being that's part of you.
Yeah.
So you have to learn to work with them. So that's what we do in the reframing process. And now, okay, how do you hold your high? How do you get your vibration high? How do you hold your vibration high? So that's the A of that CREATE model, attune. Let's keep our vibration up there because that's how we attract into our lives. And now that you're living that way, how do you empower yourself to live it more? And more importantly, how do you empower others by who you are and your example?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that's great. Do you guys ever do any public speaking? Because you just work together so well and you're so articulate and you explain everything really perfectly. I don't know. You should if you don't yet.
We're on Zoom a lot.
I guess so. Yeah, right.
Yes, and we're actually working on it. I have, believe it or not, Mary and I are flying to Dallas tomorrow for a speaker contest on Friday, which will open a lot
Oh,
of doors.
I just feel really good about that.
Thank
Good luck.
you.
I don't think you need it, but I feel good about that.
Oh, it's a great conference. It's called Speakonomics, and it's 2 full days where they work with mostly entrepreneurs on putting their speaking to business together. And then, like Ben said, on Friday, there'll be a competition that he's chosen to compete in against 9 other participants.
Ooh, you killed him. You're supposed to kill him.
And he's got a really powerful talk.
That's going to be great. If it's going to be like filmed anywhere, I mean, if they show it anywhere, we can put it in the podcast description.
Oh, thanks. It would probably just be me holding up an iPhone.
We can do that. Okay. Facebook Live on Mary's page. That sounds really fun. Man, I wish, I'd love to go to something like that. I bet that's really amazing. I used to not like speaking, but now I do.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure you're quite a good speaker, so you should.
So the next part of that, Misty, then is, okay, now that I know how to create that life, how do I live it? And that's really learning about how the energies all come together to help us on this journey. So are you guys familiar with human design?
I am.
Okay.
Allie taught me that, Misty. Allie did my human design.
There's a woman, Karen Curry Parker, who kind of changed it up and made it quantum human design.
Okay.
And we really think it's important. And that's what's part of our quantum thought, which is our third program. How do you understand how the universe all came together in an energy that turned out to be you? And where's your power? Where are you being supported? And we also help people learn the personality, the operating system that you developed to live this life. Because when you can bring all of those things together, now you're so empowered. There's really nothing that can stand in your way because you're coming from all your power.
Yeah.
And that's the third part, living, stepping in fully in a way that you know you're supported.
That's a good feeling right there, I bet.
Yeah.
Really good feeling, I bet.
Yes, I bet you've helped many people feel fulfilled in their lives. I think you have, and you will continue to. I don't think your journey's quite over yet. You might have a lot more to do, would be my guess.
Hopefully till we die, and I hope
right. That's the thing about a purpose. You want to keep doing it until
That's well said.
Especially at life purpose. Yeah, definitely.
The other exciting thing that I want to share with the listeners and with you guys, there's not just a purpose that you have, Lisa, or the purpose that you have, Misty. You guys coming together and working the way you are, you guys have a purpose together.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we do.
Yeah. And that purpose together is really huge. The only stumbling blocks that can be there is sometimes an individual's purpose kind of overrides the purpose that you're coming together for. So it's understanding what each of your purposes are and how you support each other, but then how you bring it together to live the purpose that you're having together.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, yeah.
I totally agree. Yeah.
We have special weekend programs where we help 2 business partners or life partners figure that all out. That's super fun.
Oh, fun.
That would be, yeah.
Yeah, those weekends are great because we can
Colorado, eh?
Yes.
I have a daughter there.
She does have a daughter there. I have a best friend from high school there.
It's very cool. And we bring in sound healing, and we use essential oils. And so it's
oh my gosh, that sounds
it's truly an immersion. It's wonderful.
Several channelings during the weekend for you.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Where can they find you? Where can they find you to experience this? Where the listeners and watchers find you? You have a website here?
We're going to make it really easy. First of all, you can always go to our website, imaginemiracles.com. For those of you who can maybe barely read it behind me there, imaginemiracles.com. But if your listeners go to imaginemiracles.com/we're all psychic, we've got some free gifts. And for the first 5 that sign up for what we call a Your Life, Your Way breakthrough session through your platform, we're going to give them a free session with either Mary or I, just to talk 20 minutes, 30 minutes on where you are right now and what's your next steps.
That is awesome. Well, listeners, watchers, I'll put their website and that link in the description of the podcast, and go get them. That sounds. I'm jealous of the listeners right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, you guys can be the first two there. If you want. That's
Okay, yeah. Don't tell me that now. I might. I'll do it before the podcast.
Because of what you're offering, because what you're offering here, we would also like to give a link, imaginemiracles.com/channeling-offer.
Okay. I'll put
Every third Monday of the month, we offer a free channeling where people can come on Zoom and as a group listen to the message that the roundtable shares, and then we try to spotlight the new people that are on there so they can ask a question, learn a little bit more about themselves or their guides, their life. So we would love to throw that out to everyone.
You guys are the best. Listeners, watchers, take advantage. You can hear, you can see these people are genuinely healers, I think, anyway. And we're all psychic. So if you think that, I think that Misty thinks that. Yeah, I think it's good.
We're good.
We're good.
And on that note, I would like to thank our sponsor, Everclear. Everclear is an advice app where you can get advice from psychics and empaths so you can get the clarity you need to create the life you deserve.
You deserve.
You deserve it. And deserve it. And lastly, do you have any advice for people listening to this podcast who are just getting into energy work and figuring out who they are and why they are here? Like, what would be some like a little starting off point for them, maybe, if they're listening to this and they're really curious?
Can we each share one?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'd like to suggest that you really pay attention to what you're thinking about and how that affects your vibration.
It's very true. Very true.
Your thoughts are everything. Yeah.
And I want to share that we're all unique. There is no one in this world like you. That means that you have to find your own way and your own rules, and there are people to help you. But don't follow someone else's rules and become them.
Absolutely. Yes. That's wonderful.
That's definitely truth right there.
That's some really great advice from both of you. And I appreciate you coming on so much. And thank you for the offers and everything too. Listeners, watchers, those links, you see them, get them. And I just can't thank you enough. And Misty, as always, thank you.
Lisa, thank you.
We thank you both. It's really been a privilege to spend time with both of you.
Well,
I usually run my mouth over letting people thank me. So I don't have to end the podcast. I don't have to do it. No clue. But that's what we talk about it for like 5 minutes. Bye guys. Bye, so thank you again. And listeners and watchers, of course, thank you, because we do it for you. And we love you. And we will see you, I guess, in a week, because my birthday's this weekend and I'm going to go to the beach.
Happy birthday coming up.
Thank you. Thank you. And everybody have a good time wherever you may be, and peace out.
Bye.
Bye.